Hello there, woven web enthusiasts. Today we have a story in which Grandpa has a woman on the side and he's had her there for some time. It reminds me of when Tony Soprano met his dad's mistress.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi.
Oh, hello.
You knew my mother?
You're Anthony. Oh, my God.
Do I know you?
Oh, no. No, you're not annoying me.
No. Do we know each other?
We met once. I was a friend of your father's.
Oh. Oh. You're the lady from Bamberger's. From the fur department.
Fran Feldstein.
Tony.
But back to our story, Janet Bradrocky writes in the Relationship Advice subreddit, "How do I tell my mom that her father's been having an affair for 50 years? She writes, "My wife and I are both 37 and we moved in with my grandparents in the spring to help take care of my grandmother, who was 75. Unfortunately, over the summer her health went downhill and in July she passed away. And then by September, Granddad Ellis was introducing us to his new friend Glenda, a lady he had been seeing for a couple of months. The relationship and the timeline, of course, took us all by surprise, and it was pretty difficult for any of us to accept. We all took it hard, especially my mother. At dinner one night, my mom angrily brought up how my granddad has always been like this, how he'd cheated when she was little. She even remembers him taking her and my uncle to this random lady's house so they could play with her kids. Now, I've heard this story before. My wife hadn't, and she said halfway joking that Glenda is probably the same random lady from 50 years ago. We all laughed it off and said, yeah, there's no way. In fact, it is. Glenda is the same lady he had an affair with 50 years ago. He admitted this to me this afternoon that he's known Glenda a really long time. And when I pressed him for further details, he explained that they'd been in love since they met. They had an affair a long time ago, but they got caught by my grandmother. However, they've always stayed somewhat in touch and would see each other from time to time through the years. He says he officially reconnected with her when my grandmother passed away, hence him moving on so damn quick. Now here's where things get dicey for me. Getting this information that Glenda had been in his life all this time, how do I proceed with telling my mom? She remembers the affair as a really traumatic experience, and I'm not sure how she's going to react to all this. My whole family's still reeling from losing my grandmother, let alone meeting Granddad's new girlfriend so soon. And I know this is going to add a new layer of pain to my mom. I want to break it as gentle as possible. How do I do this? And for the comments, Overall Scholar 4676 writes, "You will probably see your mom lose her crap on Dad and Glenda. Your mom is going to find out, so it's best it comes from you. She's going to see this as a betrayal to her mom, so just sit back and watch the show." Dazzling Box 4393 writes, "If you don't pull that Band-Aid off quick, it's going to look like you're siding with Grandpa." Miss Kim01 writes, "What purpose does it serve to tell your mom?" And OP responds, "I have two reasons for telling her. I know now, and it feels wrong for me to hide something this big from her. She's inevitably going to find out from someone. She and my granddad have always had an awful relationship, so this is not severing anything that wasn't already tarnished. Also, she would feel betrayed even more if she knew I knew and hid it from her." EPH613 writes, "Oh, I have some experience on this, unfortunately. My dad had affairs for decades, and we only found out after he'd been married to my mom for 40 years. Sadly, my mom had no idea, and the ensuing aftermath was genuinely devastating for everyone." And then OP provides an update. "Mom and Dad came over for dinner this afternoon. I had this planned. We got pizza and just kind of chilled for a while. Conversation went like this. I said to my mom, 'Do you remember when I got knocked up when I was 17 and you were really cool about it?' My mom's like, 'Yes.' I said, 'Okay, I need you to do the same thing for me now.' She looked confused and kind of chuckled but agreed. And then I told her everything. I relayed the exact conversation I had had with my grandfather the night before, and then dropped the bomb that her dad's new girlfriend wasn't so new. I was gentle in my delivery and careful with my words. I only told her exactly what my grandfather had said to me without adding or taking anything away. Now, at first she was upset, and she cried, and she kept muttering, fucking hell, over and over again. But the more I talked, the calmer she got, and before long she was kind of laughing at what I was saying. Later, we were both laughing at how ridiculous this entire thing was. She felt so validated for having this memory of her philandering father when she was so little, and for never being close to him. He's always been very cold to her. She's always had poor self-esteem because of the things he would say and do to her. And now, finding out that he's a garbage person on a whole new level, she seemed to feel lighter somewhat. And finally, towards the end of our talk, Mom sighed and said, "What am I going to do about it now? Get mad? There's no point. They're making up for lost time." All in all, the conversation went much smoother than I could have ever imagined. Oh, and I did add that Mom might have a half-brother out there because I went down a Facebook rabbit hole and found that Glenda has a son who shares the same name as Granddad. And as for me here at Woven Webs, Grandpa, you're wrong in every way in this, but to add insult to injury, rub salt in the wound, you bring the girlfriend around within 2 months of your wife of 50 years passing away. The grass isn't even growing on her grave yet. What do you all think? Let us know in the comments. If you're enjoying the channel, hit that subscribe button. It certainly helps me out. I appreciate you listening.